clinic. So during my work in the New Vizier, and it's more than 15 years, we have opened more than 10 of those clinics, and I was participating in opening of each clinic, starting from the moment of launching, getting the staff hired, and planning. So also I have experience in opening remotely. So we opened remotely clinic in Lviv, and I was the head of this project. I was conducting the planning of this place, and I was finding out the needed resources and finding the needed staff members. So starting from 2020, I'm director and co-founder of consulting company with consulting. So our main pipeline, that's the automatization of medical institutions and also ophthalmological medical institutions as well. So in the pipeline of our implementations, we have 3 medical informational systems, CMSIs. There's Office Manager, there's a Russian program, Dr. Alex, and also ACMOS. I have a direct connection to creating this kind of unique product as Dr. Alex for optometrists, which is a mobile app. I'm going to give a little bit of information about it later on. At the moment, I'm official partner of the company, Dr. Alex. And also together with Dr. Alex, we have developed a medical informational system which is specialized for ophthalmologists. And also I'm a partner of integration cloud solutions such as Binatel, Google Workspace, Microsoft Power BI. I'm not the only person in the company. We have a team, and all the team members have quite an experience. And some of them are working for 22 years, and we have the financial consultant, we have the specialist regarding opening the optic business, we have a project managers, architecture, a specialist which specialize in development of the personal brand of clinic. So we position ourselves as the first consulting company for ophthalmological clinics and optics as well. So what do we do? From the initial start, we may organize an ophthalmological clinic. We might create an automatization. We might prepare the stuff. We might create a marketing strategy. We might develop the patient's flow. And as a result, the clinics with whom we've been cooperating, they have system approach and stable business, and also the improved income for the clinic. And this is our competence. This is part of our certificates which approve our competency. We are certified partners, so it means that the developers do trust us in order to perform the implementation in our clinic partners. Also, the general partner of our companies, that's Vismite company. Oh, sorry, it's not working correctly. Yes, the Vismite company, and we have not only similar logotypes, so not only the names, but we have a really similar vision. We have a really similar values. We also have the same vision for the development of our companies and also the development of ophthalmological business. And our aim is to help clinics on different stages of their life cycle. So we have clinics which are for quite a long time in the market. We have clinics which we know for quite a long time. And also we have clinics which actually plan to organize the ophthalmological business. Vismite provides equipment and disposable materials, actually proposes logistics, which is rather developed, proposes own service solutions. And we as Swiss consulting company, we organize business, we implement automatization of business concepts, and we consult the directors and we consult the teams regarding different kind of questions, marketing, management, and service. So this is our synergy, which allows us the clinics to perform audits and to perform needed proposals regarding the improved service and so on. Now regarding the automatization, we have quite a lot of stereotypes. Why do we need it? Somebody is saying that automatization means just electronic medical records, so EMR, but no, in fact, automatization might deliver much bigger than that. And EMR, there are two main tasks. The first one, to preserve money, and the second one is to earn money. So to preserve it means that we need to decrease something, to decrease the disposable materials which I need, to decrease the marketing and printing, just to decrease the equipment which costs a lot, and that equipment standby costs a lot. And a lot of clinics buy that equipment, but then they do not know how to increase the flow of the patients, how to increase the amount of services that might be provided inside the clinic, how to decrease the patients. Yes, we might also control that, also to decrease the time which is needed to input the EMR, electronic medical records. So this is the topic that we were discussing quite a lot. And also to decrease the manual work, and also to decrease the amount of staff and the needed time to train the staff. When I started in XML clinic as a receptionist, there should have been like around 3 months which needed to be to prepare one. We needed to train, we needed to get the training done. And no systems were actually developed to help in that at that moment. And clinic was actually really dependent upon whether the employee would stay or would be there. So regarding our earnings, in order to increase the income of the clinic, we also need to increase the possibilities of the clinic to get enough patients. I see some clinics where the primary care appointments are there for 2 weeks ahead. And from one way around, that's something which indicates the power of the clinic, but also you need to understand that the income is actually delayed, the date of surgeries are delayed, and everything. That's why we need to control and to increase the possible flow of the patients, the amount of services, the speed of providing services, speed of providing all the needed type, and also to increase the conversion of the patients. So according to Whirlpool of sales is rather often used by marketologists in different kind of spheres. So what is Whirlpool of sales? That's the patient flow from the initial appointment to the buying or providing the service. So fast, that's photoemulsification or vitreoretinal surgery, so different kind of surgeries, or laser correction, and so on. And there on the fourth stage, that's where our income is located. The previous 3 steps, they are just obligatory in order for us to get this patient and this patient's income. We need to work on all the calls, we need to work on all the requests. And after the call, the patient is needed to be primarily diagnosed and consulted. And after this consultation, the patient needs to be consulted also with administrator. I'm also going to give a little bit about this stage. And all of those stages, there are just 2 things happening. The third one is not given. So the conversion is happening, or whether the loss of the client happens. And this is where the whole drama or tragedy of the clinic might be happening, because there are quite a lot of patients which might be lost in the follow-up during the first initial steps, and clinic might not be aware of that. And there are some cases when clinic lost up to 90-30 calls and patients, and the directors of the clinics, they increased the budget for the marketing. They just infused the huge amount of financial resources in order for them to have those calls, and on the level of the registry of call centers, all of those calls are not conversed into the client's service. Right now, get into the problems. So we've understood that automatization, that's something which is really needed and which is something that is beneficial. But we are going to define who is going to deal with it. So who from the clinic is going to be responsible for the automatization. So there is a stereotype that the developer is going to come over and do everything. That's misconception, and that's not true. Because any kind of medical informational system, whatever medical informational system you input, it is needed to be adapted and it needed to be adjusted according to your clinic needs and environment. So let's see what kind of options do we have. Number one, we choose the physician. For example, the head of the medical staff or the consultant or even the shift doctor. And this specialist is going to be responsible for the implementation. What kind of advantages do we see? This kind of specialist has the knowledge about all the medical process, knows all the needed requirements regarding the medical documentation and medical records. But of course, this physician does have his patients. This physician, he is going to be not experienced enough in IT. He cannot create a technical task. He cannot create business processes. That's not his task. And he should not be doing that. And he does not communicate with developers. Developers are some special people. They even have their own language, so to say. And in order to put the task and to create the task, there should be a special task form. So that's not an option to work with the physician. Option number two, we have a system administrator. And we define that the system administrator is going to do it. He has a background in IT, he communicates with developers on their own language, and he knows the IT level inside the clinic. But in most of the cases, he is also occupied. He does not feel and know a lot about the medical processes and medical flow, and he cannot coordinate physicians. So by saying that, the first and the second option are not working for us. And we need someone who is going to coordinate all of those people. We need the head of the project manager, who knows how to set up correctly the tasks, who might take the responsibility and who has enough experience. But those kind of specialists, in case we are going to hire a project manager out of IT, those kind of project managers are going to cost quite a lot and they are rather expensive to hire. And it's rather low possibility that this kind of person would know ophthalmological business, or this person should become the director of the clinic and should be implementing this. That's another option as well. So what kind of risks do we have? When clinic starts to automatize, there are some tasks which needed to be done. So we need to create the technical task. We need to collect all the needed information, all files, all materials. And after that, we need to test out, we need to correct the bugs, we need to train, and so on. In case the person that does not have experience in that, this kind of person would face the following problems. That for this person would be a completely unknown program, an unknown software, lack of experience and time. There is going to be lack of support as well in most of the cases, because usually people are not really motivated. That's why it might be happening this way around. And also that's an unusual communication with developers and other people there. So what might happen as a result? As a result, there might be an exceeding of budgets and timelines. That's what you planned in the beginning might not be correspondent to the final result. Errors and conflicts, not enough implementations, or also the motivation of the further implementation of MIS. So to say this spaceship is not going to fly, but that would be half of the issue. But at the same time, the same spaceship from your competitors is running, is getting the needed height, and this gap between you and your competitorship is going just to increase. The reason for that is that your competitor might invest in IT, might work together with team, might develop that stuff and team. But, patient is not going to feel pity. And patient is going to choose the service. And those clinics which have the direction of high clinical and client service, they are going to win. and those clinics are going to be chosen. Even in case the clinic has high technical equipment and modern equipment, still the first overall impression is going to be collected by patient via service. Patient cannot know whether physician has experience in some kind of surgeries, whether this kind of surgery is even needed. Patient cannot understand your medical equipment, but what patient can do is to understand your service. So what's the solution of this issue? So in case inside the company we could not found those people, then those kind of people might be outsourced. We are the companies that would propose those kind of services to outsource the system. We do have an expertise in ophthalmological business. We have people, we have expertise. We have experience in automatization. We have been doing that not just once. We have the certification from the medical informational system. We sign all the needed non-disclosure agreements, all the needed NDAs with all the confidential information. So all information that is going to be discussed between the payer and us, all of that is going to be protected and could not be delivered to the third party in any case. And also we have an agreement. You're going to onboard us. No, you're not going to. You're not going to pay any salary to us. You're not going to onboard us. We are going to have a contract according to which you pay for the result and not for the process. And the problem number two, we understood who might do it, and now we need to choose what kind of medical informational system we would like to use, what kind of MIS we would like to use. So the person who is responsible for that, there are quite a lot of questions happening. Whom to choose? What's the budget? What kind of timeline? When clinic starts to search, they need to really understand whom to choose, because all of those medical information systems are really well presented. But the second chance might not be there. In case you have mistaken in your partner with your developer, your company might slow down, and that's the base case scenario. And the worst one might just lose in competitorship market, because you're not going to have enough implementation, you're not going to be automatized enough, and you're going to have quite a lot of problems. So what's the solution for this issue? We might actually escort you through that process. We might overview all the possible options. We might perform the audit of your current status in the clinics. We might analyze the functions of medical information system that you would like to analyze. You might conduct the analysis of the commercial proposal in the terms of our contract, and also in your interests, and dependent on your name, we might cooperate and discuss it further with the developers. But right now, let's talk about the specific things in ophthalmological business. So the specificity, what do I mean? That's what differs it from other specialties, gynecological, obstetrics, therapy, and so on. But what's so specific in ophthalmological business? What differs this business from other spheres of medicine? So first of all, I have highlighted it separately, specialized contact center. So I've started my work as a contact center, call center specialist, and I was personally taking the calls. And each clinic needs to think about what's the quality of calls over there in the clinic. In case administrator in his list of responsibilities has the calls, has the payments, some kind of documents, 100 and something reports, and also the photos for the Instagram, which needed to be done, then none of those functions, honestly, would not be fully fulfilled. So the calls, that's such an important part of your work with the patient that it cannot be fourth, fifth, or sixth in the fields of responsibilities. That's why it is extremely important to divide this part, because in case the calls are not going to be taken, then all of that equipment and physician, all of that might be just free, and might be even without the patients over there. Ophthalmology, that's just that concept, that's just that field where we cannot allow ourselves that all of that is going to be said by a physician. We cannot say that at all. Then after diagnostics, we are going to clarify, no, we are working with patients which are other elderly. We have patients which are coming from other countries and from other cities, and it is extremely important for people that are coming from other, that are talking with the patients, for them to prepare the patients for the services that might be provided, to inform what's happening there, how to prepare, what kind of amount of money should they take, how long does the treatment is going to last. So our elderly patients, they might have issues to write down the information that operator is providing. That's why it is also important to prepare those kind of functions in the medical information system, which would allow to send the needed content in SMS, in email, or whatever it would be comfortable. And of course, to prepare this kind of specialists, as I mentioned before, we need time, or we need some modern systems in which we would have all of that information in place, all of this academy, how to work together, and what is needed in general. So we talk about scripts and algorithms. So the second specificity is that we have agenda, which is rather specific, schedule, which is rather specific. In order to get a visit to gynecology specialist, the administrator just needs to take a look into the gap into the schedule of the specialist. But in ophthalmology, you need to think about this patient. Okay, we are going to write down into the diagnostics, but what else is going to be needed? And also we need to get it in the schedule to the additional investigation. What kind of physicians are going to be work, whether this physician is a specialist regarding this kind of service. The diagnostics, when we put the patient in, we put it in the reverse way. So we put first the diagnostics, and after the diagnostics, patient gets into the consultation where other services are provided and whether he receives the consultation. So those kind of patients, we have a lot of them, and the lens in each of the patient is different. The need is different. It depends on the volume of diagnostics and the volume of the disease. And we cannot say accurately when the patient is going to get to a physician. The third thing is, and that's why I have chosen this name, which is help desk. So not the front desk, but help desk. We need to have the word help in the help desk. So help desk, it's not just the people which show where to go, left or right. These are the people that are going to help the physician in the process of the treatment of the patients. So this is a huge work, and that's a huge possibility in case the administrator does not understand the services, in case the administrator cannot say anything about lenses or about different kind of laser corrections and about different kind of surgeries as well. So when you prepare that kind of specialist, you need also to understand that part of this communication which is not needed might be taken by those specialists. And you as the physicians are going to have the possibility to consult more patients. So that's also when we talk about the speed of patients' consultations. So communications with relatives of the patients. I remember that a lot of children of elderly parents, they were asking us, please do not tell the price. So do everything, but regarding the price, please call me. And this help desk, this is where the help desk should understand who is the patient and who is the payer. And they should need define who is who. In case it's a grandpa or grandma, and they have someone to escort them, then the communication might be contacted with son or with a daughter, maybe to send a link to pay for the services, and in order to make the whole process to be comfortable for the patient and also for the client, for the payer, so to say. Also, control of the quality of the service. In case we would like to have the rule of services, what's the conversion, how many patients do we lose, we need to constantly do the evaluation and assessment. How many people have actually said that they did not like the service, or how many patients did say that they have some negative impressions and we do not know about them. So that's why help desk should actually call patients and should ask for their feedback, whether they are satisfied with the quality of the services. And of course, in case person does this kind of stuff, this person should have some expertise and competence. So in case there is some kind of negative reaction, negative feedback, those kind of registrators, those kind of people need to propose additional consultation or something additional. We are going to continue regarding the specificity of implementation of MIS in the ophthalmological business. We're going to get back to diagnostics. I do not know any kind of other specialty where there would be such different diagnostic options with this amount of services.
The complexity here is the following, that not a single medical question is not integrated into the MIS. What I mean by that is that each machine shows some data. It has a printout on an A4 paper in black and white or in color, but none of the results get into the MIS, into the MIS. Then there is a need either to scan the results or to take pictures or to keep them in a paper folders, and it makes us go back to the paper folders. Next question. Specialized medical documentation. Here we can do 2-3 talks and it will not be enough, because documentation in ophthalmology is very specific. We have the requirement to have the form 025 for outpatient doctors, but it is the same form for gynecologists, urologists, internal medicine physicians, and others. We have to adapt it to ophthalmology. We have to add ophthalmologic status data and make it a document that can be worked with, a workable document. It is very important to have in MIS the MIS function to draw the changes on the eye fundus. It allows the doctor to mark where on the eye fundus, in which sectors there are changes. Then the registration of the services. We shouldn't just have this registration of like we had 3 surgeries, 3 cataracts, or 5 cataract surgeries. We have to put the info on which eye it was, the first eye, the second eye, what kind of surgery. If we want the doctors to have the golden standards so that they start selling lenses in a specific order, so that these consultations make sense, that they are effective. We have to make scripts. We have to put it on paper and have to teach doctors that we consult using these specific standards. Next question, operating room organization. Right now, we have individually custom-made disposable materials. For example, a custom-made lens for a patient. We have specific configurations of the eye fundus. I do not know the center where 20 surgeries can be performed per day. We have formulas of operational team motivation. We have doctor, nurse, assistant, and all these people have to have motivation, incentive, financial incentives. And the last one, not the last but not the least, is optical business. If the clinic cannot suggest laser, cannot offer laser correction to perform an optic office where glasses or contact lenses are sold, that can be done. But it is a different business. It is not a ophthalmologic business. It is pure retail. So we have to think of how we will sell our goods. We have to think about specific logistics, loyalty programs. And ophthalmology is a business where we can unite medical services and retail. Why am I talking about this? What I'm trying to say, together with Dr. Alex, whose representative is here, which is here with us today, Dr. Alex and us, this consulting, have worked at this question. We thought about it, and together, combining our efforts, we developed Dr. Alex for ophthalmologic clinics, a new product. It has the knowledge of ophthalmology. We know what are the priorities for the clinics, and we develop through it we develop our mission, IT for ophthalmology. We see that each clinic has challenges, and we have to help them, we have to consult them. Dr. Alex, his technologies, powerful team, and continuous MIS development. Our program that we developed, it automatizes all the necessary processes in ophthalmology business from the very beginning of the service up to the statistical data. So everything you need is ready for you in this program. For example, you have a clinic that wants to get automatized or is just starting its way and it chooses MIS. So that each clinic does not have to reinvent the wheel, we suggest our solution. We offer you our program, and we can perform the customization for your clinic. We will make the program different for each clinic according to their needs. Do you remember how we talked about the sales world and about the first stage, calls, working with calls? What can we do here to increase conversion and decrease losing patients? We integrated the telephonia and other channels. So as soon as somebody calls, it is already integrated in the system. It already shows the patient's record, and in case MIS, telephonia are different systems. I'm sorry. You have to understand that it goes past the radars. You have to understand that they only go separate. We created scripts for analyzing requests, for working with requests. In order to standardize their request work, we created manuals for questions and answers, including diagnosis, recommendations, and so on. We've created the reports in order to control this system. When we introduce this program, we will also work with the contact center. We will teach the operators, and we will provide full support. So the next stage is primary diagnosis. Here we can suggest Dr. Alex Optometrist app. This product allows the optometrist to perform the necessary assessments and with a tablet to gather all the data into the MIS. They don't have to wait in line in order to get to the computer and input all the data. They can just have their tablet in the office and all the necessary data. We've created the report forms, and we included all the national forms that are required. All of these forms that are necessary for the ophthalmology clinic are ready for use. We optimized the service process. I remember that how in the offices I changed the order of diagnostic apparatus list because it can influence if the position of equipment is not logical. It may delay the time it can cause people stumbling over each other in the corridors. So we have to think through every single detail. When we introduce the product, when we implement the product, we work with doctors and provide trainings. And the third stage, help desk, people who help the doctor to sell, people who do not allow the patients to get lost without reason, people who return patients if they were recommended surgery and they don't come back to the clinic. We've created manuals for them. We created a scenario for reminding. So if the patient has to come back in 6 months for the follow-up or to perform any assessment, to get any assessment done, we put the notification in the system will notify you who to call and what to remind of. Again, here we train the registration desk workers, we teach them, and the worker has to be able to read the information. If the medical record has word factor emulsification, the registrator has to know what it is, has to know can explain what the surgery is, can explain what is the follow-up after it. This might have been talked about in the clinic, but it will not be unnecessary. It will be very, very necessary, actually. And this is the summarizing table. What Dr. Alex ophthalmology includes: templates of the documents, ophthalmology, finance, any acts, bills, administrative, notes, algorithms, scripts. We put in many reports. If you have agents who refer patients to your clinic, the system can also register it. We're all professionals here, we know. The ICD-10 is there, all the drugs are there, everything that you need in order to have interactive medical documentation and to have options. Basic version already has integration with Binatel telephony, with Cash Desk, with SMS, Viber, and Gmail. On demand, we can also integrate optometrist app. We can add the QA, patient's account, and the list actually goes on, it's quite long. Also, I'd like to emphasize that during this implementation, the introduction, you will not be alone. We will support you fully. We will train you and show you. Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments, discussions? Please come to the stand of our Vismite company. I will be there today and tomorrow. You can come up to me. I will tell you everything. I will show you everything. We can plan an online demonstration. I will show you how the system works. In case you cannot come up, call me, email me, friend me on Facebook. Please, thank you for your attention.
Хоча нас небагато в цьому залі, але хочу дуже подякувати
There are
вам
not many people in our hall, but thank you for explaining everything to us. I think the owners of ophthalmology business are very interested in it. I am actually a business owner, and we actually need a team who will help to automatize everything. We're already shifting from the paper documentation to MIST, but of course we still need professional support when we are doctors, physicians, not project managers. Please stay being doctors, stay being physicians. We need you. We will help you and we will make your job easier. Hope we will save you money save your work time and provide whole support.
Скажу вам свій власний шлях. Я слухав, цікавився тобою. Я знав, якийсь період вражався на пані. Справа в тому, що я починав так само, як всі ви починали. Починав з того, що я організую на 7 там кінцях по телефону розмовляю з пацієнта, де там пацієнт око заклеює камерою, там і так далі. Якось так цей спорт у мене вистачало, мабуть, до тих пір, поки було людей там до 10. Поки було людей до 10, от мене вистачало. Була така думка, я впевнений, у вас у всіх така думка присутня, що якщо хочеш зробити добре, зроби сам. Хочеш гарно на телефоні цього, відповідай відповідь сам, хочеш гарно закапай сам, так далі. Потім прийшло усвідомлення до того, що поки не зробиш якихось системних планів систематизації, структури там і всього, ти на цьому рівні залишишся. Ти будеш робити все сам. Коли ти будеш відпустку, у тебе нічого немає, тільки витрати. Коли там ти працюєш, то працюєш власно, все добре, але голова. Ну і ми так теж рухались. Я скажу, це не слухав. Всі ті кроки, які я розказую, всі ці кроки я прожив от душею і серцем. Це не один я, а ціла команда, що з моїх дружин, купа людей, які займалися цим. Ми зараз, скажу відверто, запровадили нову CRM-систему в себе. Ми CRM-система у нас існувала давно, існувала методики, і ми запровадили нову CRM-систему, іншу, яку попередньо запровадили CRM-систему, ми її запроваджували, то ми вибирали більш неотримові CRM-системи. Я от слухаю, де ви були там назад з технологічною системою. Я розумію, що якщо, наприклад, ви для себе знали, це абсолютно немає ніякого технічного перепалу. Щоб не думали, що я ризикувати багато часу. Разом ставити на щебель вище, я обіжаюсь на те, що система. Скажіть, хтось із вас має освіту якусь економічну чи управлінську, якусь серйозну фаху? Має. Це все отак і через себе проживав. Я пишу там певні етапи, коли я вирішив, що треба щось знати більше. Я там займався, вчився. Я розумію, що CRM-система – це можливість керувати своїм часом, своїм поширенням наших речей. Це така от моя думка стосовно того, що я чесно вам скажу абсолютно так. Я ніколи страшиться там, конференції, читати добре, я всі це добре. Скажімо, якщо і в цілому конференція, вона направлена на те, що дати кращі послуги пацієнту за менші гроші, дати кращі послуги за більші що там правильно конкуренція, а це правильно конкуренція, це правильно розвиток міністерства, правильно конкуренція. Тому я радий, що ви є.
Дякую, дякую.
Так, я радий, що ви тут це добре, це насправді цілий так само. Тому
Дякую.
я радий, що вже є така можливість не дуже швидким дипломатський сценарій, а свій час і спільнувати,
Дякую. Мені теж дуже боляче, що всі клініки
Thank you.
починають майже з нуля. Тобто,
It is very hurtful to understand that clinics start from the zero. On the presentation, they see how the system will improve their life. It will improve, but not immediately.
Тому, скажімо, і ще раз кажу, тому що ви бачите наш досвід. Ніхто з дітей не має якоїсь додаткової освіти в плані управління, там, менеджмент, там, маркетинг і так далі. Тобто це не продовірно, що ми починаємо всі з того, що ми вийшли в державної медицини, почали працювати самі на себе, як з якимось шаблоном, що ми лікарі, і так так. І, скажімо, я в даному випадку, я просто є у вас адвокатом, я пропоную,
Дякую.
тому що це допоможе нам, лікарям. Я теж лікар, перейшов я теж і місцева система якісна порушення. Звичайно. Те, що люди розказали, це я вже те, що люди розказали, це далеко. Багато що вирішується конкретно на своїй робочі. Звичайно, якщо там людина не якісна на своїй робочій місці, але допоможе це однозначно.
Дякую.